You know, sometimes in life it's good to have reality checks where, you think one thing, but you are misled. And it's important to come back down to earth and back to reality. And what we saw today was the Boston Celtics or basketball equivalent of a reality check where heading into the All Star break, everyone's riding high. You got a nice 4 game win streak under your belt. And then Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum both have excellent All-Star games for themselves. And everybody in Celtics Nation is feeling pretty good. Hey, this team's starting to play well. They're starting to all come together. Marcus Smart's coming back tonight. Oh, there's a lot of good, interesting trade rumors for the Celtics. And maybe they just need to add a little piece here and they're right back in the conversation. But then reality rears its ugly head. And unfortunately for Celtics fans, reality comes in the form of the Brooklyn Nets and one Kyrie Irving. Uh, in my mind, public enemy number one if you're a Celtics fan. And that reality is you're not a contender. You are miles apart from the best contender in the East, which is the Brooklyn Nets. They beat you tonight without their best player in Kevin Durant, and you had, even though it was Marcus Smart's first game back, you did have your core four of guys: Smart, Walker, Tatum, Brown, and you also played. You didn't play terrible. I mean, I'm not going to spend this time ragging on the Celtics' effort because I honestly didn't think they played that bad. I mean, Jaylen Brown had a horrendous shooting night. They turned the ball over a little bit too much, but I've seen them play far worse than this season. Seen them play far worse than this just a couple of weeks ago. So the reality check is the Nets, who you were dancing on the graves of just a few short years ago, have outmaneuvered you and Danny Ainge and the Celtics to the point where they're the top team in the East. I'd say right now they're my favorites for the NBA title. And they've built a team that Danny Ainge was fetishizing and fantasizing for with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, and they just so happen to also have, James Harden. And they have good shooters on the wings. As you saw tonight, with Shamet and Jeff Green could even knock down some threes. Every three Jeff Green hits against the Celtics is another dagger in my heart that it seems like personal. It also seems personal when Kyrie Irving plays against the Celtics. It's just, if you look at the two teams you saw tonight, how can you come away thinking anything other than one team is really good and the other team is really mediocre and tops out at mediocre to pretty good? The Nets top out at really good to the best team in the NBA. So I just look at it as two teams that are drastically different in terms of what their ultimate goal can be this season and what they can accomplish. And unfortunately for the Celtics, the Nets aren't going to be going away in the near future. Kyrie, Kevin Durant, and James Harden aren't old guys. I mean, Harden and Durant might be on the wrong side of 30, but they still have plenty of prime basketball left, at least 3 years each, I'd say, in their prime. They still have. And I don't think they'll have dramatic declines. Kyrie Irving, when he's motivated and having fun, like you saw tonight, is unguardable. And you, as the Celtics, have guys like Tatum and Brown who are excellent players, but either haven't yet or can't get to the level of. I don't think either of them will ever be as good as Harden or Durant. You might get lucky and Tatum or Brown surpasses Kyrie Irving, possibly, but that seems like kind of their ceiling. I mean, it's just. It's a strong dose of reality again, coming right out of the All-Star break and right out of the best stretch this season for the Celtics, at least in a while, where they won 4 games and you had your young studs play well. But this is who you're up against in the East, and you don't measure up. You just don't measure up. And a trade for Harrison Barnes isn't going to fix that. It's just they're too far ahead of you, Brooklyn, to realistically think you have a chance. And I'm not backing off my first round exit prediction for the Celtics. So it's frustrating because this is the team, again, that you were, if as a Celtics fan, were ripping on and saying, oh, look at those dumbass Nets, the cadre of picks they sent the Celtics. They're never going to be good again. They're in the basement forever. Well, they've managed to, in that same period of time, recover from being bad and then outmaneuver you and Danny Ainge to the point where they're not just a little bit better than you, they're a lot better than you. They're miles better than the Celtics. And it pains me to say it. The inevitable Lakers Nets finals is going to cut years off my life. It's going to devastate me emotionally and probably physically too. It will be an absolute nightmare scenario, but I know it's coming. I can see it from a mile away that it's coming. And it's just for the Celtics to be in the position they are now while the Nets and the Lakers surpass them and the 76ers surpass them. Whew, it's just not a great position to be in. And I think there needs to be some serious reevaluation of a lot of things because this is heading towards the worst territory in the NBA, which is middle ground. Not bad enough to be the worst team, not good enough to be the best team, too good to be in the lottery mix, but in the first or second round, you're getting bounced. I think it's the first this year. That is NBA no man's land. That is the place the Celtics are right now. You do not want to be there. You don't want to be there. You want to escape it like the freaking plague. And unfortunately, that's the situation the Celtics find themselves in right now. Let's just look into the box score real quick because it is a game recap and not just me waxing poetic on how far the Celtics are apart from the Nets. I saw a good start today from Tristan Thompson, who finished with 8 points, played 19 minutes, and basically all I saw was a good start for him. He played a little bully ball to start. I like that. I thought the Celtics' mindset early was be aggressive, score in the paint. If the Nets have a weakness, that's certainly it. They're not going to play physically with you. They're not going to defend the paint. DeAndre Jordan's not the defensive player he used to be. And I like the mindset of the Celtics. Get into the paint, bang them around, score down low. Tristan Thompson did a good job early, and either he got fatigued, the Nets figured out, they went away from it. He wasn't much of an impact after the first 5 minutes of the game. Jason Tatum was the best player for the Celtics on the court tonight, without a doubt. 31 points for Tatum, 13 to 22, 3 of 7 from 3, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Daniel Tice played a very nice game for himself, 7 of 10, 28 minutes, 17 points, 8 boards, 2 steals, and a block. Kemba Walker was 5 of 12 from the floor, a dreadful 1 of 7 from 3. As he reverts back to bad Kemba, 11 points, started hot, did not finish that way. Jaylen Brown had a dreadful night. Played the most minutes on the team. Go figure that one out. 13 points for Jaylen Brown, 4 steals, 4 turnovers, 5 rebounds, 3 of 12 from 3, and 5 of 23 from the floor. Just it's very hard to win a game when your second best player or your best player oftentimes does that. But I don't even think that was it. The Nets are just better, regardless of Brown's bad shooting night. I don't think the Celtics would have managed to win even if he was shooting the lights out. And then looking at the bench tonight, obviously it was great to have Marcus Smart back. You saw the impact immediately. 19 points off the bench, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, 3 of 5 from 3, 4 of 6 from the floor. Nobody else really contributed off the bench. Peyton Pritchard, 1 of 5 from the floor, just 3 points. Robert Williams, 17 minutes, 1 of 4. He did have 6 blocks, which is pretty awesome, but just 2 points. They did not get him involved nearly enough, or the Nets had it scouted really well. Grant Williams continues to get playing time for some reason. 16 minutes off the bench, 0 points, 5 rebounds. Didn't offer anything worthwhile while on the court. Jeff Teague, 15 minutes for some unknown reason, 5 minutes. Got crunch time playing time. Some of these guys, like Grant Williams and Jeff Teague, it's beyond me why they play. It's really beyond me why they play at this point. I had someone come at me because I criticized Grant Williams on Twitter. Please, if you really think Grant Williams deserves to be in this lineup and deserves to play, then and you can convince somebody of that, then you are the best. You'll be the best attorney in the world because it is nonsensical. He offers nothing, absolutely nothing. Aaron Nesmith doesn't play anymore. Was he playing that poorly when he was in to play himself out of the rotation? I didn't think so. I'd rather see him get minutes and do nothing than Grant Williams and Jeff Teague get minutes and do nothing. So again, you're so far apart. And look at the guys on Brooklyn. Again, no Durant though. James Harden, a casual 22 points, 8 assists, 10 rebounds, 9 from 9 from the free throw line. He was 1 of 8 from 3, not good for there. But Kyrie Irving, This is why they're so good, because you can have James Harden have an off shooting night. He'll still put up 22 points because he gets to the free throw line so freaking much. But Kyrie Irving just goes, oh, James Harden's not scoring a lot tonight. I'll just drop 40 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. And then the problem becomes even worse when Kevin Durant comes back, because he'll go, oh, one of these guys isn't shooting well, I'll score 40, another guy will score 40, or both these guys aren't playing well. The odds of all three of them playing poorly on the same night is so low. And that's why I have them as a title favorite. I mean, I just don't see how anybody keeps up with them. Certainly not the Celtics. Landry Shamet, obviously, off the bench, killed the Celtics too. He had 18 points. He was 6 of 9 from 3. Jeff Green hit 2 threes. He had 11 points. The Celtics just they just don't measure up, and that's ultimately the point of this, is that they don't measure up to the Nets. They're not going to measure up to the Nets unless there are some massive unforeseen changes coming soon, like real roster upheaval. This is going to be an issue. This is an issue. You're in no man's land. You don't want to be there. So they have to figure something out. They have to try to figure something out quickly, because now you're talking about getting into some of the prime years of Tatum and Brown, and you really don't want to waste them. So we'll see what they do, but I'd say tonight, again, very eye-opening, a real comeback to reality moment for Celtics and their fans, and hopefully for the front office and ownership of this team, because anybody who thinks that this team is contending for a championship with this roster is absolutely deluding themselves. So back at it for the Celtics next game. I know that was a depressing send off, but I'm calling it. I don't want to sugarcoat it. I'm calling it like I see it. I don't think it bodes well for the Celtics. They play at Houston their next game. That is on the 14th. I don't even know what day of the week it is anymore. So I think today's a Wednesday. Nope, Thursday. It's a Thursday. Yeah. So that puts it on this weekend? So I'll be back whenever it is. Don't worry, I'll be here against Houston. That's one the Celtics should pretty clearly win. The Rockets are one of, not the worst team in the league. So I expect the Celtics to pick that one up. But when they play really good teams like the Nets, it's not good. Not good. So I'll be back with some Rockets Celtics post game. Until then, thanks everybody for watching. Remember to give me a thumbs up. I can even do the symbol. This is the thumbs up symbol. Subscribe, comment. I always comment back. Tell people to watch. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you for your patronage and your support. And I will talk to you after the next Celtics game, everybody. See ya.